Good evening. The BJP and the DMK are locked in a deadly battle over the lighting of a lamp at an ancient temple in Tamil Nadu. The BJP has accused the DMK of being anti-Sanatan Dharma. The DMK has hit right back, saying that the BJP is trying to repeat the Babri moment, this time in Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, 56 legal luminaries, there are former Supreme Court judges and High Court judges who've written a letter saying that the effort or the attempt that's being made to impeach a sitting judge of the High Court in Tamil Nadu, it's nothing but an attempt to intimidate the judiciary. The Tamil Nadu Dharma Yuddh, that's our top focus on India First.
One state in India has become a symbol of anti-Sanatan Dharma.
Deepam Rao ignites Parliament storm. BJP slams Stalin Sarkar on Deepathoon.
There are lathis for the devotees. Hindus are lathi charged. Despite the court order, they are not allowed.
DMK pushes the judge impeachment move. 56 judges back the High Court judge. Amit Shah says the opposition is protecting its vote bank.
ये वोट बैंक को संभालने के लिए एक हाई कोर्ट के जज के सामने impeachment लेकर आए हैं.
Deepam dispute turns into political flashpoint. That's a big focus on India First.
And the judge in question, Justice Swaminathan, is in the eye of a storm over the 6th century Thiruparankundram Subramanian Swami temple lamp lighting. And this is lamp lighting on an ancient pillar in Madurai. He ordered that this festival lamp be lit because he believes this is asserting the essential, the lamp lighting is essential to assert possession. The BJP and the DMK, backed by the India bloc, now they've crossed swords in Parliament. This move to impeach a sitting High Court judge and then multiple former judges, they've come out in support. We'll get you all sides of this story. I'm Gaurav Sawant. As always, let's get started with the headlines on India First. It's game over for the Goa club killers. The Luthra brothers brought to Bangkok en route their deputation to India. Embassy to issue a travel certificate after their passports were suspended. After the government crackdown on Indigo, the airline has now appointed a civil aviation advisor to probe the mess. This comes after DGCA terminated 4 flight operation inspectors over the airline's recent spate of flight cancellations. India Today impact. Rahul Gandhi demands a discussion on air pollution. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju opens the door to a pollution debate. Anurag Thakur raises Deepam controversy in Lok Sabha, accuses the DMK of an anti-Hindu bias. More than 50 judges condemn the impeachment motion against a sitting High Court judge. Landmark moment for the India Today group on the 50th anniversary of the India Today group. Media legacy meets market history as the leadership rings the NSE bell. The Deepam controversy in Tamil Nadu has now burst onto the national stage. There were dramatic clashes on ground to a full-blown political storm in Parliament. The BJP has accused the DMK of being anti-Sanatan, having a very pronounced anti-Sanatan mindset, contempt of court, and even targeting a sitting High Court judge. More than 50 former judges have stepped in defense of Madras High Court Judge. The DMK government has questioned the Deepathoon itself. The battle has only intensified because the DMK government made a huge statement in court saying there was no historical precedence of this lamp lighting. We get you more in this report.
Why the Hindus are
party member
stopped?
also.
Sir,
He was allowed to
Justice
raise-
S. Swaminathan did not mince words.
The Madurai Deepam row exploded in the parliament. BJP leaders tore into the DMK, accusing it of anti-Sanatan mindset.
One state in India has become a symbol of anti-Sanatan Dharma. Their ministers are making statements. Against Sanatan Dharma. They objected when Prime Minister was doing his duty for the Ram temple.
He also accused the DMK of being in contempt of the court.
The Madurai bench of Madras High Court came down strongly on the Tamil Nadu government, accusing officials of deliberately ignoring its order on lighting the Karthigai Deepam lamp at the Madurais. Hindus are lathi charged. Despite the court order, they are not allowed.
This after devotees were blocked from lighting the Deepam despite a Madras High Court order. DMK has been pushing for impeachment of the Deepam case judge, saying his verdict was biased. Earlier this week, Home Minister called the move a bid to oppose their vote bank.
आजादी के इतने साल में नहीं हुआ है मान्यवर कि कोई जज एक जजमेंट दे तो जज के खिलाफ इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं। साथ ही साथ उद्धव जी ने भी साइन कर दिया। उद्धव जी, जजमेंट क्या है? एक पहाड़ी पर मान्यता है कि हाँ सबसे ऊपर दिया जलाया जाए। मान्यवर, ये वोट बैंक को संभालने के लिए एक हाई कोर्ट के जज के सामने इंपीचमेंट लेकर आए हैं।
But the most dramatic twist came from outside politics. 56 former judges have penned a letter in support of Justice Swaminathan, calling the impeachment motion filed by DMK an allies' weaponization of a constitutional process and a brazen attempt to browbeat judges who don't align politically. The letter warns that such actions cut at the roots of democracy, intimidate the judiciary, target judges for their ruling, and ultimately undermine judicial independence. Meanwhile, inside the courtroom, the debate turned sharper. DMK today questioned the very existence of Deepathoon itself. The bench asked why the Deepam could not be moved to the pillar for better visibility. The state said visibility cannot justify altering a decades-old custom, and said the court can intervene only if a custom was broken, which it argued has not been proven. With no end to dispute on site, the question that remains is this dispute about religious rights or political narratives? With Pramod Madhav, Bureau Report, India Today.
So Pramod Madhav reporting there. Let's now deal with this subject at two different levels. One at a legal level and then at a political level. Before I bring in our political guests and our analysts, I want to quickly bring into this conversation Justice S.N. Dhingra, former judge of the Delhi High Court. He's one of the signatories to this letter that called for an impeachment and these judges, former judges and legal luminaries have said this is an attempt to intimidate the judiciary. Justice Dhingra, welcome, sir. Why do you see this impeachment motion moved by over 100 MPs seeking the removal of Justice Swaminathan as a brazen attempt to browbeat judges, sir?
You see, as a judge, myself, and you see what is reported from in newspapers, we have seen these politician advocates browbeating judges inside the court. These advocates who are in politics and who consider themselves above law, they keep browbeating judges in the court. Now this is for the first time, this is an unprecedented move that you start impeachment proceeding against a judge who has delivered judgment which is not to your liking. So that is something very dangerous for the whole institution.
Okay.
You have remedy, the remedy of appeal to the division bench, remedy of appeal against division bench to the Supreme Court, SLP, then writ petitions, bypassing all the remedies which are available to you, you have started impeachment proceeding on the ground that this judgment is based on ideology. You can brand any judgment being based on ideology. So you get
Okay.
a weapon of demoralizing judges on the ground that the judgment is based on ideology, and
So that's a big.
impeachment, using impeachment as a weapon to threaten the judges. I consider this is highly insensitive, highly objectionable, and preposterous.
Okay. Justice Dhingra, how will concerns of alleged ideological bias or deviation, from a division bench ruling, these are some of the issues that have been raised by opposition MPs. How will these be addressed? If how will their concerns be allayed, sir? Only by appealing in a superior court?
You see, every judgment can be appealed before the superior judge on the basis of merits, not on the basis of individual judge's qualities or his bias. If the judgment speaks for itself, you can challenge the judgment that, look, in the judgment, these are the paragraphs which show that this is contrary to law. A judgment has to comply with constitutional norms, and
Correct.
High Court judgment has to specifically ensure that it is constitutional. If the Constitution provides that all communities are equal before law, all religions are equal before law, and you cannot prevent a religion from performing its rituals because another religion is objecting, or you cannot create a situation that law and order will be the situation of law and order by your own deliberate act, and accuse the judge that, look, because he has given the judgment, so law and order situation will be created, whereas you are creating law and order situation by not allowing rituals to be performed in accordance with the judgment.
Okay, so let me then take it specifically, sir. The impeachment notice cites three very specific instances and serious ones at that: compromised impartiality, a conduct which is not seen as secular, undue favoritism, and a pattern of decisions reflecting a particular ideology, sir. Can these concerns be dismissed as wholly inadequate, as the letter seems to do, without acknowledging, if proven, that these are very, very serious charges, sir?
You see, these charges can be leveled in respect of any judge for any judgment. You call a judgment unsecular. Why? Because it is not to your liking. Because in such cases, there will be two parties. One, the petitioner, other will be the opponent. If petitioner belongs to A community and opponent belongs to B community, the decision has to be given in favor of either A or B. Now, the moment you give decision in favor of A community, then you are non-secular. If you give decision in favor of B community, you are non-secular. What is the definition of secularism? It is for the judge to decide which way the rights or constitutional right of the party lies. Not the secularism is not going to decide how the judgment is going to be delivered. These are constitutional rights given by the Constitution. And
Yes.
I may give similar 20 judgments in which I uphold the right of constitutional right of a party. Does that mean that a judge has no right to uphold the constitutional right of a community or party, and he can be branded unsecular? It is something unheard of that you
Okay.
say that this judgment is unsecular because a judgment has not to stand the test of secularism. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Judgment has to stand the test of constitutionality, whether the consideration have been on merit or not on merit. If the
Fair enough,
judgment
sir.
is on merit, then where is the issue of secularism?
Absolutely. So let me then permit me, Justice Dhingra, to go into a specific charge. And in the media, it's extensively been reported, TKS Ilangovan of the DMK has alleged that Justice G.R. Swaminathan intentionally, according to him, overruled a two-judge bench to aid what he called was a BJP-backed agenda, even comparing the Deepam order to a Babri Masjid-style attempt to create a communal flashpoint. Now, sir, how would you look at this, that the charge that is being leveled, a single judge overturning a division bench order, sir?
You see, a single judge can differ with the even Supreme Court judgment. If the judgment is not applicable to the facts of the case, he can say this is not applicable and I don't follow this judgment. There have been cases even before me where I refused to follow Supreme Court judgment. There were two Supreme Court judgments, one in favor of plaintiff, other in favor of defendant. And the earlier judgment, which was in favor of the plaintiff, was by three judges. The later judgment was given by two judges of Supreme Court without considering the earlier judgment. So I did not follow even Supreme Court judgment. Where you see, overruling a judgment is not something new in India. Supreme Court itself has been overruling its own judgments on the basis of very ideology itself. See, ADM Jabalpur judgment was overruled later several times by many judges. And Golaknath judgment was also overruled by later judgments.
Okay.
See, the ideology of earlier judges was different from later judges. So the later judges overruled the earlier judgment. They considered the constitution, the interpretation of constitution given by them as the correct interpretation, and the earlier interpretation was overruled. Is there something new in it? See, why we refer the, you see,
Past
benches,
precedents.
5 judges bench, then 7 judges bench, then 11 judges, 13 judges, because
Sir?
we consider collective wisdom of more judges will be more
Yes.
better instead of 2 judges, 3 judges. So that is the reason that
Okay.
overruling takes place. Overruling is a regular feature of this country, judiciary.
Okay.
It is not
So,
something
Justice
new.
Dhingra, if an order is not followed by the government or the administration, can a High Court judge go beyond issuing contempt of court notice or subsequently proceedings? Can he, for example, direct authorities, not the state police, but a central armed police force to provide security? Or would that be seen as judicial overreach? And in
How
your
can
view,
it
how
be?
should this issue have been addressed, sir?
You see, do you think the orders and judgments passed by courts should be only paper judgments, not implemented by the administration? A judge and a court must ensure that the judgment given by him, if not overturned by the superior court, must be implemented. He has to devise methods of getting the judgment implemented. Nobody can be allowed to sit on the judgment on any ground whatsoever. Otherwise, all courts will become mere paper tigers. You pass a judgment and the administration says, sorry, we cannot implement it because of law and order situation. We cannot implement because our ideology is different. You can take any number of excuses. I don't
But
think
would that not be
that a
judicial
judge is
overreach and
not
judge going into
is
the
weak
into the
enough
domain of the
or cannot
executive, sir?
get the judgment implemented. He has to get the judgment implemented.
Fair enough. Justice Dhingra, for joining me here on this India Today special broadcast. Many thanks, sir. We'll be tracking the story very closely. I'm now throwing it open to a wider political debate. And Justice Dhingra, do feel free to stay on, sir, if convenient with you. Let me now bring in our political guests and our analysts, Mr. Saravanan. Saravanan is the spokesperson for the DMK. Joining us on this broadcast, Rohan Gupta is the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Joining me on the show, Shekhar Iyer is a senior journalist and analyst joining us on the show. Mr. K.V. Dhananjay is an advocate in the Supreme Court. Gentlemen, welcome. Mr. Saravanan, Anurag Thakur in Parliament asked, why are Hindus being subjected to discrimination in Tamil Nadu, a state which he believes is becoming a symbol of anti-Sanatan Dharma, quoting statements or citing statements of DMK ministers in the past against Sanatan Dharma. Your take on this, sir?
Yeah, it is farcical. Irony jumped from the cliff and committed suicide when Anurag Thakur, the Goli Maro Salanka famous Anurag Thakur, is speaking about protecting religion. What other credibility he has except that making hate speeches? Apart from that, what credibility does this gentleman have? That apart, and Mr. Dhingra, former judge of the Delhi High Court, was waxing eloquence about secularism, was waxing eloquence about judicial independence and all that. Where did he go? When Justice Muralidhar was transferred midnight, he ordered an FIR against this same gentleman who made a hate speech. Goli Maro Salonka. That is his only high point in his political career. When Justice Muralidhar wanted to have an FIR against him, he was transferred midnight. He was made as a Chief Justice to the Madras High Court. He was not even allowed to do that. That is the kind of intimidation BJP practices. BJP does not have any moral right to talk about the independence of judiciary. This is one aspect. The other aspect is, when you speak of Sanatan Dharma, see, there is a fundamental difference. You people from North India, especially people from this media and the BJP, they use Sanatan Dharma in synonymity with Hinduism. For us, Hinduism does not mean Sanatan Dharma. For us, Sanatan Dharma represents the rigid caste hierarchy practiced in Hinduism. We oppose that rigid caste hierarchy. And when we speak of which party is the party which is working for the welfare of the Hindus, nobody can beat DMK. BJP is just doing lip service. They just want votes on the name of...
Sir, I may disagree with you on a lot of aspects, but we'll leave that for another debate, and especially on Sanatan Dharma. You may have your belief on that, but I want to bring in Rohan Gupta to respond. Rohan Gupta, the Tamil Nadu government and the Hindu Religious Charitable Endowment Department argued that there was no hereditary, family duty, ritual grant or historic precedent for lighting a lamp at that very specific pillar, and doing so could disrupt communal harmony and create a law and order situation. They maintained that the tradition of lighting a lamp at a usual spot was followed, sir. Respond to what Mr. Saravanan said and to my question.
See, this is a serious issue when these people talk about constitution and, institution, constitution, insult of court. What they are doing now, this is not only insult of Hindu to our Sanatan. This is larger insult of our judicial system. What they are talking about, it is as simple as that. Any high court order needs to be implemented. Whether you feel wrong, right, all these things, yes, you have system of appealing. But how dare you stop the implementation of high court order which is already passed? And eye-opening, this is really shocking. The whole country has to see that this government, which has been famous for making anti-Sanatan statement, anti-Hindu statement, now they have stooped to such a low level for their appeasement politics that they have stopped implementation of High Court order. What more you can expect? Definitely, they can disagree with whatever has happened. But does that give them power as a state government to defy the order of High Court? No, it doesn't. Again, the petition went to the High Court for implementation. There was a lathi charge against the Hindu devotees. Why? Is this is this India or something else? Are we outside India? No, we are part of India. This is shocking that wherever Indian governments are there, this is going to happen to Sanatan. This is really shocking. And again, they are bringing impeachment motion. Why?
Okay.
What is happening?
So I'll come to impeachment in just a moment, but on the specific issue of Sanatan, Mr. Saravanan wants to respond. Go ahead, sir.
See, again, there is this misconception See, the Tamil Nadu government was not in a position to implement the order because law and order has to be maintained by the state government. Let us recall what Mr. Amit Shah said on the Sabarimala issue.
Why are you
when the
taking
order was
somewhere
issued
else?
by the Supreme
Mr.
Court. Allow
Saravanan,
me to
speak on
speak.
this issue.
Shut
Don't divert.
Shut up. Shut up. I
Don't
know.
divert.
I don't
You
need your
speak on
advice.
this
I
issue.
don't need it. You
Let's
shut
keep
up.
this
Don't
civil,
divert.
I don't need your
gentlemen.
advice. I don't need your advice.
Don't divert.
I know what to speak. I know
Don't
what
you
to speak.
speak on this issue.
You
speak
don't
on this
dictate
issue.
me.
Don't
You have
divert.
no moral right to dictate me.
How
What did
dare
Mr.
state
Amit Shah
government
say
not
on the
implement order of
Sabarimala
High Court?
issue? On what did Mr.
How
Amit
dare
Shah
a
say?
state government
Sabarimala
not
issue?
Gentlemen, my
implement High
request
Court's
is one
order?
by one.
You
Sir,
tell me
One by
that.
don't be
one.
afraid.
Let one
Don't be
person
afraid.
speak.
If you're not able to
Okay,
own up
give me
the
a moment.
statements
Give me
made
a
by Home
moment.
Minister,
Why is
Gentlemen,
it
I
happening?
know
debate.
tempers are and emotions are very high, but can we have Mr. Saravanan complete his point? And Mr. Gupta, I'll come back to you immediately. Mr. Saravanan, complete your point. Request all our guests, kindly keep it civil. Go ahead, sir.
10 seconds. What Mr. Amit Shah said, please don't pass orders which cannot be implemented in matters of religious freedom. This is what Mr. Amit Shah said on Sabarimala issue. That order was appealed and it was recalled. And here we were waiting for this appeal. And what these persons are not devotees. They are miscreants. They want to create communal disharmony in the state of Tamil Nadu. 1,000 Amit Shahs cannot do anything. As our Chief Minister rightly points out, Tamil Nadu is always out of control to Delhi. Your head peddling narratives will not work in the state of Tamil Nadu. This judge has deliberately did not follow a division bench judgment of the same High Court. And Mr. Justice Dhingra says you can overrule a judgment. Single judge cannot overrule a division bench judgment.
I'll get Mr. Dhananjay to come in on the legal aspect. Okay, now Mr. Rohan Gupta wants to quickly respond to
Give
you.
me 10 seconds.
Go ahead, sir.
See, this is the problem. If Mr. Saravanan shouts on the debate and feels that he's right, what are you talking? You are not implementing High Court's order. You can disagree with the High Court judge. No, don't speak in between.
Okay,
Don't
Mr.
speak in
Saravanan,
between.
only Mr. Rohan Gupta,
Don't
please.
shout. Don't shout. Please keep quiet. Please keep quiet. Don't speak. My point is simple. Even if they disagree with the High Court judge order, what power the state government gets not to implement that? I have a very, very simple question. Does the state government believe in constitution? Yes. Do you respect judiciary? Yes. Definitely you go to Supreme Court if you feel something is wrong has happened. But how can you stop implementing High Court's order? That shows the height of appeasement politics. That shows the height of, insult. That shows height of allergy to Sanatan. That is my point here. You can definitely disagree with my point, Mr. Saravanan.
Fair enough. I want to bring in Mr. Dhananjay into this conversation. I'll come back to you, gentlemen.
You please answer
I have to bring in Mr. Dhananjay. Can a court-ordered lighting of a lamp lead to a communal flare-up in an ancient temple? Mr. Dhananjay, is it not the job of the administration to ensure that a court order is followed and law and order maintained?
It is, of course, the duty of the government to abide by the orders of a court. But the facts of this case, I think, are somewhat different. Now, let's come to the impeachment motion itself. I think that's an overkill. I don't believe an impeachment motion would lie in the manner that the DMK is suggesting. But having also said that, I think what the Honorable Justice did, I think, was a kind of an overkill on the facts of this case. You're not going to basically allow CISF, Central Industrial Security Force, to accompany somebody to a temple, more so when the whole practice itself is at some level mired in doubt, number one. Number two, and whatever judgment would be given by a learned single judge of a high court certainly is not the final word in this country. It would be open to an appeal by the affected party before a division bench. So the court could not have said, I am going to pass an order and it must be executed within the next 24 hours or 48 hours. And if it was not executed, the court could have reserved contempt, or for that matter, the court could have reserved the consideration for another time. So that order, I believe, was not quite warranted. But that doesn't mean that the DMK is justified in insisting on an impeachment, because errors happen all the time. Now, that's just my subjective opinion. It's entirely possible that the majority don't believe that the judge was wrong in law. It's possible that...
So let me bring in Shekhar Iyer for an analyst's view on this. Shekhar Iyer, the DMK fears a Barbary repeat in Tamil Nadu, words to that effect, and says their effort was only to ensure that there is no communal flare-up in an area where both Hindus and Muslims have lived in communal harmony for a very long time. So, would the lighting of a lamp have lit a communal fire?
Gaurav, there is no question of any Barbary happening in Tamil Nadu, because Tamil Nadu is a completely different scenario. I think what the DMK is worried now is, and the way they went about this, the government particularly, and the party is largely because of another factor. It is not Babri they are worried about, another Babri or another, they are worried about Vijay and his party, Tamil Vetri Katchi, because they feel that this new party that has come could cause the minorities who have been voting for DMK all year after year, in election after election, they could get a choice and they could shift to Vijay. And the fact that he is back in public action, he has been holding meetings. He did one in Puducherry. There have been several restrictions for him to hold meetings in Tamil Nadu. But sooner or later, as the elections come, he is going to be out in the field. They are more worried about the impact of that. Here, the whole idea going to the extent of seeking impeachment and accusing that particular judge that he was favoring a community, and that because that's a kind of a narrative they feel if they can bring in that anti-Brahmin narrative, that will help in causing disunity among Hindu groups. But their fear is Vijay and the Tamil Vetri Katchi. Nothing
That's
to do
a
with the
very
creation
interesting
of
point you
Ayodhya
raised,
in the Tamil Nadu. I mean,
That's
that
a
is
very
clear.
interesting point you
Everybody knows
raised.
about it.
Yes, yes. Mr. Saravanan, that's your fear. When the BJP says what you're doing is blatant Muslim appeasement or minority appeasement, this is a two-pronged strategy that the DMK is adopting. Divide the Hindus, retain the Muslim votes.
See, that's what. Let me begin by saying that the DMK is a party which works for the upliftment of the Hindus, unlike the BJP. BJP is worried only about just a particular group of Hindus, the upper caste Hindus. They're not worried about anybody else. But BJP, DMK is a party which is for the majority of the Hindus, whatever said and done. And when it comes to Thiruparankundram, last 100 years, it has been lit in the same place. On the eve of elections, the BJP thinks it can reap electoral dividends by trying to light a Deepam near a Dargah, which has not happened. And today, the Archaeological Survey of India has given a clear reply that Deepathoon, where the single judge wanted the Deepam to be lit, is a survey stone. What kind of a joke is this? The judge orders Deepam to be lit in a survey stone built by the English. Is this what a 1,000-year-old tradition? That survey stone itself comes into existence some 100 years back. So this is what the issue is. And these
Rohan
persons,
Gupta wants to respond.
just a moment. When
See,
these
this
persons,
Okay,
when they were asked to go and light, what did they do? They attacked the policemen. They are not devotees. They are thugs. And they are from a political party. So there is an agenda behind this. If they are plain and simple devotees.
Rohan Gupta wants to respond because Rohan Gupta, the DMK says in Tamil Nadu, it's the flame of equality that has been lit and will continue to shine. Nobody can extinguish it. They are saying you are trying to light
give me 2 minutes.
a communal fire in the state.
I will expose the duplicity. Now he says that order was different and BJP wanted to do different. Then why they are doing for impeachment motion then? If they are not against the order, then this is the double standards. If you are not against the order, you should have implemented what has been ordered. Then why you have stopped the implementation of the order and you have gone to a Supreme Court against the order? So don't talk double things. Don't talk about Hindus. Hindus have seen enough insult from DMK, enough insult of Sanatan. I think there should be shame to this government who has not implemented court order just because of their political benefits, just because of your mentality of appeasement politics. What are you talking about? You yourself are, deviating from the truth. You are yourself negating your original argument. Either you are with the judge order or you are against the judge order. If you are with the judge order, please implement the spirit of the order which has been passed. Don't go to Supreme Court. That clearly shows what is your mindset, and people of Tamil Nadu will not leave you. Where is the question of upper caste Hindus here? It is question of Sanatan. It is a question of crores of devotees who go to the temple regularly.
10 seconds,
you are stopping the implementation
Okay.
of the tradition.
10 seconds
Shame
to
on this
Saravanan.
government.
Gaurav, I'll explain within 10 seconds how BJP is anti-Hindu. See, in the All India Medical Seat quota, 27% seats should be reserved for OBC.
Don't divert, Mr.
The BJP
Saravanan.
failed to
We are
do that.
talking about this
BJP
issue.
failed to do that.
I know
But
you
the
don't
Tamil
have
Nadu
logic.
government, under Mr.
You
MK
answer on this
Stalin,
point.
Under Mr. MK
You
Stalin,
answer, are you with
filed
the
a
judge
case
or you
in
are
the High
against the judge?
Court. The BJP
You
government
please tell very
refused to
clearly,
enforce it.
are you
I
with
know
the
you are
judge or you are
rattled.
against the
I know
judge?
you are rattled.
Are
I
you with
know
the judge
your
order or you are
arguments
against the
are
judge
in
order?
vain. I
Don't
know
divert, Mr.
you don't
Saravanan.
have the
You are
courage
caught
to listen
badly.
The
to me.
order
You
and
cannot
on
You're
the
show your
going to
letter,
confidence
I
today.
know.
gentlemen,
Your party is
gentlemen, give me a
completely
moment
exposed
because I want to bring in Mr. Dhananjay on the legal aspect of this. And though, Mr. Dhananjay, you have spoken that it's an overreach to move in for an impeachment, but the letter says if the MPs have reason, even if that is taken at face value, they're insufficient for impeachment. Is there merit in the contention that this is actually an attempt not to impeach, but only to intimidate judges to
Absolutely.
stay in line?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think anybody takes this motion very seriously. It's just that the Constitution prescribes a certain number of signatures to get a motion admitted. So I believe that many signatures have come about already, and I don't believe there is any prospect of the judge being impeached. But there is every prospect that look at what happened in some other cases. Sometimes judges simply resign. And there's a possibility that the judge might be hurt with what just happened, and there's also a possibility that feeling intimidated, he may consider resignation. That's not good for the judiciary. And the DMK, if it believes it has valid arguments to impeach the judgment, that they should have done. They should have promptly filed an appeal. They don't have to take days together to file an appeal against an order of a single judge. They could do that overnight. And courts, in fact, sometimes accept in emergent situations appeals filed midnight and all that. They should have done so. So I believe this is at some level a kind of an intimidation, and it should not be successful. And it's understandable that several judges have come in support, or rather against the impeachment motion. And it's important for the judiciary also to take a tough stand against it. Yeah, I don't think the impeachment motion was warranted at all. And I also don't believe it's backed up by sufficient research. You see, to make an allegation that a judge is favoring a certain community, it's easier to make that allegation. It's going to be very difficult to back it up with data to provide many judgments. And I don't believe that DMK perhaps has that research with them. It's just a wild allegation that here is a judge who's, I mean, I do not know anything about the judge. I do not know about
No, and the fact that it's not just the DMK opposition India bloc, so whether it's the Congress party, the Samajwadi party, including Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena, there are so many who are signatories to this Shekhar Iyer. But I want to ask you another question on what Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh Sarsanghchalak Mohan Bhagwat said on the lines of Hindu awakening in Tamil Nadu, and that will bring the desired result. How do you read that statement?
No, already,
If you look at the Babri Masjid issue, that really gives ammunition to the DMK government to go before the court and say, in a matter like this, considerable the courts will have to defer to the wisdom or to the judgment of the executive, because in
Of the
Babri
executive.
Masjid
But,
case,
I want to just quickly bring in Shekhar Iyer on what Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, said, that there's Hindu awakening taking place in Tamil Nadu. Now, in the light of this Thiruparankundram case, how do you see that, sir?
No, Thiruparankundram is one among the 6 abodes of Lord Muruga, or Karthigeya as we know him in the north. It's very sacred to all Tamil, and what has happened is, because of actions of the DMK government and the DMK party, and also its sister organizations like Dravidar Kazhagam, who have been constantly attacking Hindu symbols and as a way of their political narrative, gradually what has happened is there has been a kind of a counter reaction. The fact that even this whole episode has been blown up by the DMK to impress upon the minorities that we are the ones who can safeguard you if this becomes a big problem like Ayodhya. Because Muslims did not object to lighting of the lamp on a particular day, that is Karthigai. Yes. Karthigai is a festival of lights, like Deepavali.
Like Deepavali.
The whole idea was to convey to the minorities before elections, look, we are the ones guarding you. We are even there to protect you from a future problem. So do not consider other options like the Vijay Stamil Vetri Katchi. That is a political messaging involved. That's when they went to the extent of moving an impeachment motion, knowing very well that will never be accepted. You cannot move an impeachment motion on the basis of an order or a judgment. So there is a lot of political intent in this and messaging.
And it's very interesting, and it's only likely to intensify in the days and weeks ahead. We'll be tracking that story very closely. Gentlemen, I want to thank you. The India Today group is marking 50 years of fearless journalism and influence, ranked the National Stock Exchange ceremonial bell. Now that's a powerful symbol at the heart of India's markets. The ceremony brought together two institutions that have shaped modern India. The newsroom that chronicled the journey of our country and the exchange that powers India's economic engine.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The iconic bull at the entrance to the National Stock Exchange in Mumbai. And holding it by the horns, Arun Puri, chairman of the India Today Group, Kali Puri, vice chairperson and managing director. Bringing India's biggest newsroom and India's biggest stock market together in a moment that blends media legacy with market history. This afternoon at the National Stock Exchange, the leadership of the India Today Group marked a historic milestone, 50 years of journalism, credibility and influence, with the NSE's ceremonial bell-ringing ceremony. A walk through India's financial nerve centre, a quiet reminder of how markets and media together shape the national narrative. The exchange and the newsroom, two institutions that have questioned and powered India's growth story. Inside the NSE atrium, the stage was set to chronicle the 50-year journey of India Today Group, from print to television to digital dominance.
Today, journalism at the India Today Group is digitally empowered, where storytelling transcends platforms and where credibility and candid, constructive conversations, not clicks and TRPs, become the most valuable currency. We carry forward the same promise that defined us in 1975. To always ask the difficult questions, to always stand tall in the face of power, to always serve the people of India with integrity and courage. Thank you to our readers, our viewers, and the extraordinary teams who pour their passion into this institution every single day. To all of you, I offer my deepest gratitude. Thank you, NSE, for this honor. Thank you, India, for 50 remarkable years. The bell we ring today is for the next chapter for India and for India Today.
The NSE bell, a timeless tradition, an icon that echoes the exchange's genesis and symbolizes confidence, momentum, and the next chapter in India's financial story.
50 years from print to television, to many television channels, to business channels, and now through social media, through web. And the same people, same team doing that is amazing. And for me, literally, we all grew up reading India Today, and now we actually go to sleep watching Aaj Tak. And so that is what tells you that honest journalism has a place in life and in the life of AI, life with AI.
12 seconds, 11, count with me.
The countdown begins. All eyes on the bell. The chairman, the vice chairperson and managing director, the India Today Group CEO, the NSE MD and CEO, together at the heart of India's financial marketplace.
Congratulations, congratulations. Please do stay on stage, Mr. Puri.
A historic ring, a landmark partnership, and a moment that brings together the power of information and the force of markets. Interestingly, the partnership on the floor pushed the Nifty over the 26,000 level for the first time in 5 days. From the trading floor, the celebrations moved to the iconic Business Today Most Powerful Women Awards 2025, honoring leadership, excellence and impact of women in corporate roles. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.